The vast emptiness of space lit up with a dazzling array of colors as the massive Galactic Council ship entered Earth's orbit. It was a sight that would have been beautiful if not for the sinister intentions hidden behind its gleaming exterior. For years, the people of Earth had dreamed of this moment, first contact with an advanced alien civilization. When the Galactic Council first reached out, offering friendship and the promise of shared knowledge, humanity had rejoiced. Streets filled with celebrating crowds, world leaders shook hands on live television, and a new era of hope dawned for mankind. Little did they know that this hope would soon turn to ash. In the grand halls of the Galactic Council's main citadel, located on a distant planet, a secret meeting was taking place. The Council's supreme leader, a tall, gray-skinned being with piercing silver eyes, addressed the gathering. Fellow Council members, it spoke, its voice a low hum that seemed to vibrate through the air. We have made a grave error in contacting the humans. Murmurs of confusion rippled through the assembled aliens. A blue tentacled creature raised an appendage. But Supreme Leader, they seemed so harmless. The leader's eyes narrowed. Harmless now, perhaps, but our predictive models show a different future. In mere centuries, their potential for growth and advancement could surpass our own. They are a threat that must be dealt with. Silence fell over the room as the implications sank in. Finally, a bird-like being with iridescent feathers spoke up. "What do you propose, Supreme Leader?" A cruel smile played across the leader's thin lips. "We strike at their future. We eliminate their young." Gasps and shocked exclamations filled the chamber. The blue tentacled alien recoiled in horror. But that's genocide." The Supreme Leader's voice turned cold. "It is survival, ours or theirs. The choice is simple." Over the next few weeks, as humans continued to celebrate their new galactic friendship, the Galactic Council put its terrible plan into motion. They analyzed Earth's defenses, found the weaknesses, and prepared for a strike that would cripple humanity's future. On a quiet Tuesday morning, it began. The sky turned red as thousands of small attack ships entered Earth's atmosphere. They targeted schools, hospitals, and residential areas with precision. Energy weapons far beyond human understanding rained death from above. In New York, little Emily had just arrived at her elementary school, excited to tell her friends about the alien ship she'd seen on TV. She never got the chance. A blinding flash of light, and the school was gone. In a small village in India, young Rahul was helping his pregnant mother prepare breakfast. They both looked up in confusion as a high-pitched whine filled the air. Seconds later, their home was reduced to ashes. All around the world, similar scenes played out. Parents rushed to schools only to find smoking craters. Hospitals meant to heal became tombs. Parks once filled with laughter fell silent. Human military forces scrambled to respond, but their weapons were useless against the advanced shields of the alien ships. In less than an hour, it was over. As the Galactic Council ships retreated to the stars, they left behind a changed world. Millions of children had been erased in an instant. The hope that had blossomed with first contact withered and died, replaced by grief, anger, and a burning desire for revenge. In the smoldering ruins of what was once a thriving city, a lone figure stood. General Sarah Chen, her uniform torn and bloodied, looked up at the sky where the alien ships had vanished. Her young son had been among the victims. As tears streamed down her face, she made a silent vow. "This isn't over," she whispered, her hands clenching into fists. "We will survive. We will rebuild, and we will make them pay." Little did the Galactic Council know, their act of cruelty had not broken humanity. Instead, it had awakened a sleeping giant. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but humans were now united in a way they had never been before. The stars that had once promised friendship now held only the promise of retribution. Humanity's darkest hour had come, but from this darkness, a terrible resolve was born. The galaxy would soon learn why you should never underestimate humans, especially when they have nothing left to lose. The sun rose on a changed earth. Where once stood proud cities, now lay ruins. The air was thick with smoke and the cries of the bereaved. Humanity had suffered a blow unlike any in its history. In what remained of New York City, Sarah Chen picked her way through the rubble. Once a general, now she was just another survivor. Her uniform was caked with dust and blood. Her eyes, once sharp with military precision, now held a haunted look. As she turned a corner, she saw a small group of people huddled around a makeshift radio. Their faces were gaunt, their clothes torn. But in their eyes, Sarah saw a spark. Hope. No, something harder. Determination. The radio crackled to life. A voice, tired but resolute, filled the air. This is an emergency broadcast. To all survivors, you are not alone. The attack was global, but humanity endures. Stay strong. Stay together. Help is coming. Sarah felt a hand on her shoulder. She turned to see an old man, his face lined with grief and age. "General," he said, his voice barely a whisper, "what do we do now?" For a moment, Sarah was silent. The weight of responsibility pressed down on her. Then, straightening her back, she spoke. "We survive. We rebuild. And then we fight back." Across the ocean, in the burned-out shell of London, a young scientist named Amir worked tirelessly. His lab was gone, destroyed in the attack. But his mind was intact, and it raced with ideas. The aliens' technology, he muttered to himself as he scribbled equations on a dirty wall. It's advanced, yes, but not unbeatable. There must be a way. In a small village in Kenya, a group of children huddled together. They had survived by hiding in an old cave. Now they emerged to a world forever changed. The oldest, a girl named Amara, looked at the younger ones. "We're alive," she said firmly. "And as long as we're alive, there's hope." As days turned to weeks, humanity began to stir. The initial shock and grief gave way to a grim resolve. In hidden bunkers and makeshift shelters, plans were made. World leaders, those who had survived, gathered in a secret location. The meeting was tense, filled with accusations and fear. But as the hours passed, something changed. Old rivalries fell away in the face of a common enemy. "We can no longer afford to fight among ourselves," the President of the United States declared. "From this day forward, Earth stands united." In the weeks that followed, a new world order emerged. Nations pooled their resources. Scientists shared their knowledge freely. Military forces combined under a single banner. But it wasn't just governments and militaries that changed. Ordinary people, driven by loss and anger, found strength they never knew they had. In the ruins of Tokyo, an old martial arts master began training survivors. "Our bodies must become weapons," he told them. "For we may face enemies beyond our imagination." In the forests of Brazil, indigenous tribes shared their knowledge of survival and healing. Ancient wisdom mixed with modern necessity, creating new ways to endure. And in labs around the world, scientists worked day and night. They studied every scrap of alien technology left behind. Every piece of wreckage became a clue, every broken weapon a key to humanity's survival. But perhaps the most mysterious development came from the children. Those who had survived the attack began to show changes. A young boy in Russia could move objects with his mind. A girl in Australia dreamed of events before they happened. At first, these incidents were dismissed as trauma-induced delusions. But as more cases emerged, the truth became clear. The alien attack had awakened something in Earth's youngest survivors. Something that might just give humanity a fighting chance. As the first month after the attack came to a close, Sarah Chen stood atop a hill, overlooking a bustling camp of survivors. People moved with purpose, working together to build shelters, tend to the wounded, and plan for the future. A young soldier approached her, saluting sharply. "General," he said, "we've received word. The first of our new defense systems is online. And there's more. We've detected unusual energy signatures from deep space." We think. We think it might be them coming back." Sarah nodded, her face set in grim determination. "Let them come," she said. "This time, we'll be ready." As night fell, millions of eyes turned to the stars. But where once they had seen wonder and possibility, now they saw only a battlefield. The next chapter in humanity's story was about to begin, and it would be written in the ink of vengeance. 6 months had passed since the devastating attack. The world was different now. Cities once reduced to rubble were slowly being rebuilt, but with a new purpose. Every building, every street, every home was designed with one goal in mind: survival. In a hidden facility deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Sarah Chen stood before a group of the world's brightest minds. Scientists, engineers, and military strategists from every corner of the globe had gathered here. "Ladies and gentlemen," Sarah began, her voice echoing in the cavernous room, "we're here to change the course of human history. Our task is simple, yet monumental. We must prepare humanity for war against an enemy far beyond our current capabilities." The room buzzed with nervous energy. Dr. Amir Khan, the brilliant physicist from London, stepped forward. "General, we've made significant progress in reverse engineering the alien technology left behind, but we're still years, maybe decades, behind their level of advancement." Sarah nodded grimly. "Then we'll have to be smarter, more innovative. We don't have the luxury of time." In the months that followed, the hidden facility became a hive of activity. Day and night, minds worked tirelessly to push the boundaries of human knowledge and technology. In one lab, Dr. Elena Rodriguez labored over a shimmering material. "We're calling it neo-steel," she explained to a visiting official. "It's lighter than titanium, but can withstand temperatures hotter than the surface of the sun. Perfect for spacecraft hulls." Nearby, a team of engineers worked on propulsion systems that could bend the very fabric of space-time. "If we can perfect this," one of them said, wiping sweat from his brow, "we'll be able to cross galaxies in the blink of an eye." But perhaps the most intriguing developments were happening in a secluded wing of the facility. Here, children with extraordinary abilities were being trained and studied. 10-year-old Maya stood in her room, her eyes closed in concentration. Slowly, objects around her began to float. Dr. James Wong watched in amazement. "Her telekinetic abilities are growing stronger every day," he murmured to his colleague. "And she's not the only one. We have children who can read minds, see the future, even manipulate energy." These gifted children, survivors of the attack, had become humanity's secret weapon. Their abilities, once thought to be the stuff of science fiction, were now a reality. But the preparation wasn't limited to technology and psychic powers. Across the globe, ordinary citizens were being trained in combat and survival skills. Farmers learned to be snipers. Teachers became strategists. Every human was a potential soldier in the coming war. In orbit, the first of Earth's new defense satellites were deployed. These weren't mere hunks of metal, but highly advanced platforms capable of detecting and potentially intercepting alien craft. Meanwhile, deep in the digital realm, a new kind of warfare was being waged. Hackers and programmers worked tirelessly to create systems that could potentially infiltrate and disrupt alien technology. "If we can't match them in firepower," one young programmer said, her fingers flying over her keyboard, "we'll beat them with ones and zeros." As the preparations continued, humanity faced an unexpected challenge. A group of alien refugees, fleeing the oppressive rule of the Galactic Council, arrived on Earth seeking asylum. The world was divided. Some saw the refugees as a potential source of information and allies. Others viewed them with suspicion and hatred. In a tense meeting of world leaders, Sarah Chen made her stance clear. "We can't let our pain turn us into monsters," she argued. "These refugees could be valuable allies, and more importantly, helping them is the right thing to do. We're fighting for humanity's survival, yes, but also for its soul." After heated debate, a decision was reached. The refugees would be welcomed, but under close supervision. As the first year since the attack drew to a close, humanity stood on the brink of a new era. They were no longer the technologically primitive species the Galactic Council had attacked. They were transforming, evolving, preparing. In a quiet moment, Sarah Chen stood at a window, looking out at the stars. A young aide approached her. "General," he said hesitantly, "do you really think we can win against an enemy so powerful?" Sarah turned to him, her eyes filled with a fierce determination. "Win," she said. "Young man, we're not just going to win. We're going to show the galaxy why you should never, ever underestimate humans." As if in response to her words, a shooting star streaked across the sky. But it wasn't a star. It was Earth's first faster-than-light probe, heading out into the unknown. The preparation was nearing its end. Soon, very soon, it would be time for action. The tension in the command center was thick enough to cut with a knife. General Sarah Chen stood at the helm, her eyes fixed on the massive holographic display before her. It showed a small, distant outpost of the Galactic Council, unsuspecting and vulnerable. "All units in position." A voice crackled over the comm. "Awaiting your order, General." Sarah took a deep breath. This was it. The moment humanity had been preparing for over the last 2 years. Their first strike against the Galactic Council. She keyed her mic. "Operation Prometheus is a go. May God have mercy on us all." In the inky blackness of space, a dozen stealth ships shimmered into view as they dropped their cloaking fields. These vessels were the pinnacle of human engineering, incorporating reverse-engineered alien tech with humanity's own innovations. On board the lead ship, Captain Raj Patel gripped his command chair. "All hands, prepare for engagement," he ordered, his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through his veins. The human fleet moved with precision, catching the alien outpost completely off guard. Energy weapons lanced out, cutting through the outpost's defenses like they were made of paper. Inside the outpost, alarms blared as panicked aliens scrambled to respond. "It's impossible," one of them shouted. "How did they find us? How are they here?" A young psychic named Emma, barely 14 years old, sat in a specially designed chamber on one of the human ships. Her eyes glowed with an otherworldly light as she projected her thoughts into the minds of the alien defenders. Confusion and terror spread through their ranks. Meanwhile, teams of elite human soldiers, their bodies enhanced with cutting-edge cybernetics, boarded the outpost. They moved with inhuman speed and precision, neutralizing resistance before it could form. Among them was Sergeant Mike Collins, a survivor of the attack on Earth. As he fought his way through the alien corridors, memories of his lost family fueled his determination. "This is for Emily," he whispered as he took down another alien defender. Back on the bridge, Captain Patel received an urgent communication. "Sir, we've breached their central database. Downloading now." The real objective of the mission was information. The physical damage to the outpost was just a bonus. Every bit of data they could steal brought them one step closer to understanding their enemy. As the battle raged, news of the attack spread through the galactic community like wildfire. Species that had long cowered under the Council's rule watched in awe as the supposedly primitive humans brought a Council outpost to its knees. In the Council's central citadel, the Supreme Leader received the news with shock and rage. "Impossible," it roared, smashing the delicate instrument. How could those vermin have advanced so quickly? An aide, trembling, approached with more news. "Supreme Leader, it's not just the technology. The humans, they're displaying abilities we've never seen before. Telepathy, telekinesis. Some of our soldiers reported their weapons simply stopped working, as if by magic." The Supreme Leader's eyes narrowed. "So they're full of surprises. No matter. We'll crush them all the same." But as reports continued to pour in, a flicker of doubt began to grow in the Council's collective mind. Perhaps they had underestimated these humans after all. Back at the outpost, the battle was drawing to a close. The human forces had achieved all their objectives with minimal losses. As they prepared to withdraw, Captain Patel allowed himself a small smile. "Send word to Earth. Operation Prometheus was a success. As the human fleet vanished back into the void of space, they left behind a shattered outpost and a shaken galactic council. The message was clear. Humanity was no longer prey. They were predators now, and they were out for blood. In the command center on Earth, Sarah Chen watched as the successful mission reports came in. A mix of emotions washed over her: pride, relief, and a grim satisfaction. But she knew this was just the beginning. "Well done, everyone," she announced to her staff. "But don't celebrate too hard. This was just the first strike. The real war is yet to come." As if to underscore her words, new intelligence began to flash across the screens. The Galactic Council was mobilizing, preparing a massive counterattack. But this time, Earth would be ready. Sarah looked out at the stars, visible through the command center's skylight. Somewhere out there, the enemy was coming. But for the first time since the devastating attack on Earth, she felt something she hadn't dared to feel in a long time: hope. The game had changed. The hunters were now the hunted, and humanity was just getting started. The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with nervous energy. Representatives from 100 different species argued in a cacophony of alien languages. At the center of it all stood the Supreme Leader, its silver eyes narrowed in frustration. "Order," it bellowed, silencing the room. "We face an unprecedented threat. The humans have proven more resilient than anticipated." In the back of the hall, a hooded figure listened intently. This was Ambassador Zara, secretly working for Earth. Her heart raced as she recorded every word. Meanwhile, on a distant planet called Nexus Prime, General Sarah Chen sat across from Kral, the leader of the Orcs, a race known for their advanced battle tactics. "So, General," Kral rumbled, his four eyes blinking in sequence, "you seek an alliance against the Council." Sarah nodded. "The enemy of my enemy is my friend, as we say on Earth." Kral's mouth tendrils twitched in what might have been a smile. An interesting concept. But what do the humans offer in return? Sarah placed a small device on the table. It projected a hologram of Earth's latest warship. "How about technology that can rival the Council's?" Kral's eyes widened. This changed everything. Back on Earth, in a hidden facility, young Emma sat in a meditation chamber. Her psychic powers had grown exponentially. As she focused, her mind reached out across the galaxy, touching the thoughts of countless beings. Suddenly, her eyes snapped open. "Dr. Wang," she called out. I found something." The scientist rushed in. "What is it, Emma?" "An artifact," she gasped. "Ancient and powerful. The Council, they're looking for it too." This information would change the course of the war. In the depths of space, Captain Raj Patel's fleet engaged in a deadly dance with Council ships. The battle raged around a small, seemingly insignificant moon. "Hold the line," Raj shouted as his ship shuddered under enemy fire. "We can't let them claim this territory." Little did the Council know, beneath that moon's surface lay a cache of resources crucial to Earth's war effort. On a lush jungle planet, Sergeant Mike Collins led a team of human and alien rebels. They moved silently through the underbrush, approaching a Council research facility. "Remember," Mike whispered, "we're here for the data. In and out, quick and quiet." But as they breached the facility, they found something unexpected. Rows upon rows of stasis pods, each containing a child from a different alien race. Mike's blood ran cold. "They're doing it to others," he realized, "just like they did to us." The mission had just become a rescue operation. In the Council Citadel, the Supreme Leader received troubling news. "What do you mean? We've lost contact with Sector 7, it demanded. An aide trembled as he replied, "It appears the humans have taken control of the sector, Supreme Leader." The leader's fist smashed into its throne. "Impossible. How are they advancing so quickly?" What the Council didn't know was that Earth had a secret weapon. A quantum AI, developed by Dr. Amir Khan, was predicting the Council's moves before they made them. As the galactic chess game intensified, more and more species began to side with humanity. The Orcs brought their battle strategies, the Zenth their stealth technology, the Quarians their medical advancements. Earth's alliance grew stronger by the day. But the Council had one last, desperate card to play. In a secret chamber, the Supreme Leader approached a pulsing, otherworldly artifact. "The humans leave us no choice," it muttered. "We must awaken the ancients." As it reached for the artifact, a surge of energy pulsed through the chamber. Across the galaxy, every psychic being, including Emma on Earth, felt a disturbance. Something old and terrifying was stirring. On Nexus Prime, Sarah received an urgent communication from Earth. As she read it, her face paled. "Krell," she said, turning to her alien ally, "we need to accelerate our plans. Things just got a lot more complicated." Krell nodded gravely. "I sense a great darkness approaching, General. The true test of our alliance is about to begin." As stars twinkled in the night sky, unaware of the conflict raging around them, the fate of the galaxy hung in the balance. The humans and their allies prepared for the greatest challenge they had ever faced. The Council was desperate. The humans were determined, and an ancient power, long forgotten, was about to re-enter the cosmic stage. The galactic chess game was entering its final, decisive phase, and the next move would determine the fate of not just humanity, but all sentient life in the universe. The vast emptiness of space was shattered by the arrival of thousands of ships. Human vessels, sleek and deadly, took their positions alongside the diverse fleet of their alien allies. This was it. The final battle was about to begin. On the bridge of the flagship Terran Hope, General Sarah Chen surveyed the assembled armada. Her face was a mask of determination, hiding the storm of emotions within. "Status report," she barked. Captain Raj Patel's hologram appeared. "All ships report ready, General. The Orcs battle groups are in position, and the Zenth stealth squadrons are standing by." Sarah nodded. "And our secret weapon." Dr. Amir Khan's voice came over the comm. "The quantum AI is online and running battle simulations. We're as ready as we'll ever be." As the fleet made its final preparations on Earth, a different kind of preparation was underway. In a secure bunker, young Emma sat surrounded by a group of gifted children from various species. Their combined psychic power would be crucial in the coming battle. "Remember your training," Emma said, her voice steady despite her youth. "Together, we can turn the tide." The children nodded, their eyes glowing with otherworldly power. Meanwhile, deep in enemy territory, Sergeant Mike Collins and his team of Spec Ops soldiers made their way through the shadows of the Council's central citadel. Their mission: to sabotage the Council's defenses from within. "5 minutes till we reach the core," Mike whispered. "Stay sharp." As they crept through the alien corridors, Mike's mind wandered to the millions of children lost in the initial attack. "This is for them," he thought, gripping his weapon tighter. Back in the Council chambers, panic reigned. The Supreme Leader's composure had cracked, its silver eyes wide with fear. How did they amass such a force? It screeched. Where did they get such advanced technology? A junior counselor stepped forward, trembling. "Supreme Leader, there's more. Our deep space sensors have detected something massive approaching from the galactic core." The leader's fear turned to manic glee. "The ancients. They've awakened. They'll destroy the humans and restore order." But as the words left its mouth, alarms blared throughout the citadel. The humans had begun their assault. In space, the battle erupted in a dazzling display of energy weapons and explosions. Human ships danced between larger alien vessels, their advanced technology allowing them to go toe-to-toe with the Council's best. On the Terran Hope, Sarah watched the battle unfold. Group Alpha, push forward. Beta Squadron, cover their flank. The quantum AI's predictions flowed across her screen, allowing her to stay one step ahead of the enemy. But even as the tide seemed to turn in humanity's favor, a new threat emerged. From the direction of the galactic core, a massive shape appeared, ancient beyond reckoning, its surface covered in eldritch symbols. The vessel of the ancients had arrived. All ships, brace for impact. Sarah yelled as the ancient ship fired a beam of pure energy, cutting through the battlefield. In the Citadel, Mike and his team had reached the core. As they prepared to plant their charges, a group of council guards ambushed them. "Cover me," Mike shouted, diving towards the control panel. If he could just reach it. A shot rang out. Mike felt a searing pain in his side, but kept moving. With his last ounce of strength, he slammed his hand down on the panel. Throughout the Citadel, systems began to fail. Shields flickered and died. The Council's coordinated defense fell into chaos. In the psychic chamber on Earth, Emma and the other children felt the shift in the battle. "Now," Emma cried. Their combined mental energy surged across space, disrupting the Council's communications and sowing confusion among their forces. As the battle reached its crescendo, the ancient ship loomed ever closer, its intentions unknown, its power undeniable. Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of her ship, watching as human and alien alike fought side by side against both the Council and this new, terrifying threat. Whatever happens, she thought, we face it together. For Earth, for all of us. The final countdown had begun. The next few moments would determine the fate of not just humanity, but of all sentient life in the galaxy. As energy beams crisscrossed space and ships, exploded in silent bursts of light, one thing became clear: nothing would ever be the same again. The universe held its breath, waiting to see who would emerge victorious from this cosmic crucible. The galaxy trembled as three mighty forces clashed in an epic battle. Human ships, alongside their alien allies, fought desperately against both the Galactic Council's fleet and the terrifying ancient vessel. On the bridge of the Terran Hope, General Sarah Chen's voice rang out. "All ships, focus fire on the Council's flagship. We need to end this now." Energy beams lanced across space, striking the massive Council ship, but as it began to falter, the ancient vessel made its move. A beam of pure white energy shot forth from the ancient ship, engulfing the Council's flagship. In a blinding flash, the ship disappeared, along with a significant portion of the Council fleet. For a moment, silence reigned across the battlefield. Then a voice boomed in everyone's mind, alien and human alike. "Enough," it said, the weight of eons in its tone. On Earth, Emma and her group of psychic children gasped in unison. They're talking to us," Emma whispered in awe. The voice continued. "We AAVUAT and WAITED. The KONCLHAA's FAILED in its duty. A new order must rise." In the Council Citadel, Sergeant Mike Collins and his team listened in disbelief as the voice echoed through the halls. The Supreme Leader, cowering in its chamber, realized its reign was over. Back on the Terran Hope, Sarah made a decision. "Open a channel to the ancient ship," she ordered. "Channel open," replied Captain Raj. Sarah took a deep breath. "This is General Sarah Chen of Earth. We seek peace, but we will not be subjugated. We fought for our right to exist, and we'll keep fighting if we must." For a long moment, there was no response. Then, "You AVPRV and your worth, humans. Come. Let us speak." In a flash of light, Sarah found herself transported to a vast, ethereal chamber within the ancient ship. Floating before her was a being of pure energy. "Your species has shown remarkable resilience and growth," the ancient said, its form shimmering. "Perhaps you are worthy of joining the galactic community. As equals." Sarah stood tall. "We won't settle for anything less, but equality must extend to all species, not just humans." The ancient seemed to consider this. Wise words. "Very well. The old council will be disbanded. A new era of cooperation will begin, with Earth playing a central role." As Sarah discussed the future of the galaxy with the Ancient, events unfolded rapidly across the battlefield. The remaining Council ships surrendered. Cheers erupted across the human and allied fleets. On countless worlds, oppressed species celebrated their newfound freedom. In the Council Citadel, Mike Collins and his team secured the Supreme Leader. "You'll face justice for your crimes," Mike said, thinking of the millions of lost children. On Earth, Emma and the Psychic Children sensed the shift in the galaxy's destiny. Tears of joy streamed down their faces as they felt the waves of hope emanating from countless worlds. Days later, as the dust settled, a grand ceremony was held on a neutral planet. Representatives from every known species gathered to sign a new galactic charter. Sarah Chen, now speaking for Earth, addressed the assembly. "Today, we turn the page on a dark chapter of our shared history. We move forward not in fear or hatred, but in hope and unity." As she spoke, humans and aliens alike remembered those lost in the conflict. On Earth, memorials glowed with the names of the children taken too soon. But from that loss, a new future had been born. Earth, once a target for destruction, now stood as a beacon of hope for the galaxy. In the years that followed, humanity spread to the stars, not as conquerors, but as explorers and peacekeepers. The scars of the past remained, but they served as a reminder of the cost of hatred and the value of compassion. And on a small blue planet, a new generation of children looked up at the stars with wonder, knowing that the galaxy was full of friends, adventures, and endless possibilities. As the sun set on this new era of peace, the ancient beings watched from afar. "They have passed the test," one said to another. "The future is in good hands." And so, the story of humanity's greatest trial became legend, a testament to the indomitable spirit of not just humans, but all those who stand against tyranny and fight for a better tomorrow. The galaxy would never forget the day when humanity, born from tragedy, rose to reshape the stars.